Okay, on this video, we're going to talk about autophagy. I've done a lot of videos on autophagy, and if you don't know what autophagy is, don't click off, because I want to teach you this really cool concept that happens inside your cells that actually helps you heal yourself. And what I'm going to show you on this video is that in the morning specifically, there is something you can drink that you're going to love that's going to help boost autophagy. So here we go. Let's dive right in. First, I got to teach you what autophagy is, because some of you are like, give me the goods, give me the goods. Yeah, this autophagy thing sounds amazing. Just tell me what to do. And I'm not spoon feeding you here. I am teaching you how to think. So let's look at autophagy. Autophagy, the word breaks down into autophagy. It basically means that your cells have the capability of eating themselves. Now that sounds kind of confusing, but what I'm talking about is that your cells know how to repair and clean up the mess inside the cell, all by their little lonesome. But most of the benefits of autophagy you can just do yourself, like fasting. Fasting is one of the best ways to stimulate autophagy. And when you stimulate autophagy through fasting, you're not spending any money, you're not spending any time, you're just tapping into this cellular repair system. So when we look at over a course of our life and we look at the accumulation of stressors, physical stressors, emotional, chemical stressors, we got trillions of these cells that are all inside our body, and they're getting more and more and more inflamed, and they're getting gummed up through glucose sticking to them. It's a process called glycation, where the glucose sticks to the outer part of the cell. And as we age, these cells are just getting tired and worn down. So stimulating autophagy is really flippin' helpful. So I already told you, fasting is a beautiful way to stimulate autophagy. In fact, it's the best way to stimulate autophagy. Second best way is you got to keep protein down. So when you eat 20 grams of protein or more, you kick yourself out of autophagy. So autophagy has to have some restriction to it with food, both protein and time restriction. On the other side of autophagy lives this concept called mTOR. And mTOR is where you build muscle, and you stimulate mTOR by eating more, specifically protein. Throughout a day, you should be like cycling between these two things. You should hit the autophagy button, and then maybe once you bring food back into the equation, you're going to hit the mTOR button. And if we learn the principles of both of these things, what we're doing is we're cleaning up and we're growing new things. We're growing hormones, we're growing muscle, and then we're cleaning up the excess, and then we're growing the good. But what happened is, because you never learned about autophagy, then all you were doing is growth, which meant growth, which also meant that these cells became more and more inflamed and became sicker and sicker. So autophagy is key. Now, once you know that, here we go. Here's the one thing. I didn't mean to string you along this video to get to this point, but I really wanted you to understand how important autophagy is. And here's what you can drink. Coffee. I know. It's exciting, right? The most common thing that I get asked is, can I have coffee in my fasting window? Okay, I'm all in, but tell me about my coffee. And I laughed, because that's what so many people think. They're like, oh my God, all the benefits. They read Fast Like a Girl. They're like, all the benefits are amazing. And so why would I not do it until they think, wait, I might have to take my coffee out. You don't have to take your coffee out. So here's what coffee does, is coffee stimulates autophagy. Coffee stimulates cellular healing. Coffee can help you detox the cell. I'm going to read you something from a study that was printed in Cell Cycle. And I actually need to read the overview of the conclusion that they found, because I love what they said. Here's what they said, is that clinical trials revealed that chronic consumption of coffee is associated with the inhibition of several metabolic diseases. What does that mean? That means those of us that have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, our hemoglobin A1C is off, our liver enzymes are off, we're metabolically unfit. If we drink coffee on a regular basis, that what this study is showing is that it can help us stop metabolic diseases. That's cool. Okay, but it goes on and it says, as well as a reduction in overall and cause-specific mortality. So that basically means it can keep you alive, coffee. And we show that both natural and decaffeinated brands of coffee similarly rapidly trigger autophagy. That's why they keep us alive. This is how it's helping with the metabolic health of the world. So hallelujah for coffee. And it went on to say that 1 to 4 hours after coffee, autophagy was stimulated in your liver, heart, and muscles. If we're doing coffee, specifically in the morning, I mean, you can do coffee in the afternoon if you want, that you actually are stimulating the autophagy that's happening within the cells of muscles, making them cleaner, so that when you go and you add in your protein, you go and you add in your weightlifting, you're going to get that nice strong muscle that's going to actually be visible to see. Okay, now, before you all rush off to your commercial coffee place, we need to have some coffee rules. Okay, so here we go. First rule, the type of coffee you drink matters. Coffee can be a cup of chemicals, so make sure it's organic and mold-free. If you're running down to your local coffee shop that's on every corner, franchised all over the world, that's a cup full of chemicals. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about clean coffee. I will put some of my favorites in the notes. I have them on my website as well, but we want clean coffee that doesn't have chemicals in it. Okay, second thing, what you put in your coffee matters. So I know a lot of you are going to ask me, okay, well, what about my cream? Okay, what about oil? What about my coffee mate? Like, what goes in my coffee? Well, when we're looking at coffee through the lens of autophagy, we know if we put MCT oil in it, MCT oil actually can help us switch over to the fat burning state a little bit quicker, can upregulate ketones, so it shuts off the hunger hormone. So I love MCT oil. Put MCT oil in your coffee, and it can help, and studies are conflicting on this. So I'm not quoting a study about MCT oil in autophagy. I see, when I look at the studies on MCT oil, I see both. I see some that say it doesn't stimulate autophagy, and I see some that does. But what we do know about MCT oil in your coffee is that it can move you into ketosis, this fat burning place, more, which is ultimately going to help you with metabolic health if we can burn fat for energy and make keto. Cream. Okay. Organic full fat cream typically works to help us metabolically switch and get over into this fat burning place. It's a great tool for that. But one of the rules of autophagy is you don't go over 20 grams in a meal. So you got to make sure you're putting just a teeny bit of cream in there, and you're not tipping the protein scale, because there's protein in cream. So make sure your cream does not have 20 grams of protein, just a little bit. I can tell you the mornings that I fast and I want to drink coffee, I don't put cream in it. I'm learning to not put cream in it so that I can get more of that autophagy effect. If you're wondering about sugar in your coffee, no, it doesn't work. It's not, I know it tastes really good, but it's gonna keep you over in sugar burner. It's never gonna put you in fat burner in the fasting window. And it's going to accelerate glucose spikes. So glucose gets stored as fat, and it's going to pull you out of both ketosis and autophagy. That's not good. So no sugar. Little tiny bit of cream if you have to. Organic would be best. Raw is even better. Black is best. So make sure you're doing clean coffee, and make sure that you are also doing what you put in it really matters. And the third coffee rule, and you're going to hear this on a lot of different videos, is that I want to make sure that you're minding the timing of coffee. So best time to drink coffee is a couple hours after you get up. If you drink it right when you get up, you get this cortisol spike. A couple hours later, you get another cortisol spike, and now you've got two cortisol spikes. And so where does cortisol get stored? In your belly fat. So let's try to have a cup of water, have a cup of tea, something like that early in the morning, and then wait an hour to 2 hours, and then have your cup of coffee and ride your natural cortisol waves. Okay, I got to interrupt this video because I have a free guide for you so you can master fasting. It's called A Beginner's Guide to a Fasting Lifestyle, and all you've got to do is click here and you can jump right in. So those are my coffee principles. But seriously, I mean, this is great news, right? Like, not only can we fast to hit autophagy, but we can have black, clean coffee with a little bit of MCT oil and maybe a splash of some cream in the morning to accelerate autophagy. And then I'm going to give you a little bonus here on this, is then if you hit train in the morning, that also stimulates autophagy. So now we've stacked three things together to really amplify the self-healing of these cells, this self-healing mechanism that your cells have already been programmed with. Your cells came with it. They've just been waiting for you to figure it out. So now we have three things that we can put together to make that work. There you go. For those of you that are obsessed with autophagy, and believe it or not, there's a lot of you here on my channel, I want you to know that this is really a great resource for you. And if you're like, what the heck did that woman say? And I know you've made it this far in the video, I'm impressed if you still don't know what I'm talking about. But I go into all things about autophagy in Fast Like a Girl that you need to know, so you can get the resource there. And for those of you who've been following me for some time, if you're getting incredible results with weight loss or any cool result, put it in the comment. I love to read them. And as always, I hope that helps. If you want to dive into autophagy more, I have a great video called The Best Way to Extend a Fast and Boost Autophagy. So go check out that video. Once you click into this fasted state, somewhere in between 8 to 12 hours, now the trick is, how do we stay there longer?